Hi guys, it's me, your lady friend Bonnie, and this week I'm doing something a little bit different. I was just sort of like inspired by like having, come across something that's, trending and like on YouTube, and just thought that I would have my say in the conversation. And being like a rap reviewer, I feel like I can say something about this. Like, so I just wanted to also mention, don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you like it, and definitely leave any comments if you're interested and if you want to see any videos more like this, kind of reacting to kind of trending stories. So yeah, maybe I could do something like that as well. So let me know if you want me to do that. So yeah, let's look into this now. So this week I just kind of came across, it was trending number 1, and I think, as I'm recording this, I think it was number 2 or number 3. So it's, Iggy Azalea's Kream music video. And, so yeah, I was just looking across that. I came across it, and, I've always been a big fan of hers. So of course I, kind of wanted to see like what my girl was up to, So yeah, let me just sort of like walk you through this, music video. So if you haven't seen it, I'm probably not going to show it because it's just full of ass. So yeah, and then we'll just get demonetized, and we don't need that. But I don't know, maybe my subject is still gonna like cause that to happen. Anyways, so first we see like girls in like a kind of like shady, kind of looks like sketchy kind of like motel room, and they're doing working on the pole, and so they're at this place doing that, and so and it's hard work, working a pole, so you can't trust that these girls weren't working hard. I don't think it's Iggy actually, but it's some girl. So she's doing pole moves, and then we have like shots of like Iggy Azalea, and she's there with like just like a bunch of cash.
Post come last.
Oh my god. And then we have, shots of, girls' butts, including her own. And then she kind of like there's like one scene in front of like a house where she kind of like opens up a girl's legs, and she's kind of like, I guess, standing on her head. And she like opens up her thing, and then she kind of like wipes the girl's vagina. I don't know. I was just like, ooh. So yeah. And then we have like her and other girls who are dancing like around Iggy, wearing sort of like neon clothes and like lingerie, and I feel like we've seen this before in like other music videos of hers, as well as like Cisco Thong Song. Like that just like comes to my mind, like those kind of like tacky kind of people, which is like, oh, now I'm kind of like, oh, Iggy, what are you doing? So and her outfit doesn't feel like a new outfit. It feels like something
For play, I ain't come to play.
Something that I may have seen before on her, or maybe it sort of like reminded me of the outfit that Britney Spears wears in Toxic. So like, if you know what I mean, like that kind of blue outfit, but I mean Britney's supposed to be like a flight attendant, but anyways, so that's just kind of what it reminded me of, or I feel like I've seen her in something like that. But I also have her on Instagram, which I'll get into later on, so maybe I've seen it from there, like maybe that was the like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, but maybe it's just because I've seen it before. So yeah, so like none of this feels like very like original, for me. Like the dancing, just everything, like the butt jiggling. And then we kind of have like in the background, we have like the Cash Rules Everything Around Me by like Wu-Tang Clan, which is sort of like a nice tribute, but like, at the same time, like I wonder what they think about this. But like, her version is Kream is spelled with a K. I also should mention that Tyga is featured on this song as well, which you will kind of see later on. anyways, so like after like a few more shots of like cash everywhere, there's, you know, cash in like a grimy fridge, and there's cash in like an oven, and it's just kind of like piled up everywhere, which doesn't really like seem like a very safe thing to do if you do have a lot of cash, because then if somebody steals like, you know, some of it, you probably wouldn't notice, you know. So, which, I mean, I guess is saying that you've got so much cash that that wouldn't be an issue for you, but you should probably put it in like countable stacks, or maybe not in a bank if you're not into that, but like put it somewhere safe. But that's just me, right? So then we have like more shots of her like jiggling her ass, which is, you know, something that we've seen in all of the other videos since she got her ass, or even before she had her ass, she was still shaking it. Which I'll also get into. I'm just kind of also going to tell you like the history of my relationship with Iggy. So that's just what I'm gonna do. So, and then we have the verse, which I thought was, or like the bridge, I guess it is, which is ass, cash, cash, ass, bags, bad. Cash rules everything around me. So that's that's it. That's what it is. And so that's, you know, not that great. It's kind of like a half rhyme, so I give her some credit for that. It's just not that great. And then there's like these neon signs that say like ass, but like with dollar signs, and then like bags, and you're just like, what? It's just weird. And then we have Tyga. So here's like me telling you about his part. So, and then in one of his scenes, he's in like a bedroom where like everything has been covered in plastic, like maybe like a murder scene or something like that. And then there's this dead shark that's hanging there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, isn't this like Iggy? Come on. This is your music video. Like, I just felt like you're better than this. Like, you're Australian, and like I know how much, like, I mean, sharks are important to like everybody, but I think that like Australians are like especially like proud of sharks, and like they're pretty knowledgeable on sharks, you know. Like a lot of people that I've met there, like, you know, they know what's up, they know that their sharks are protected, and I feel like Australians are particularly involved in like keeping them safe. So I just thought that like as an Australian, like this just seemed like a weird sort of, or, you know, as any human being on earth should be, would find this sort of like dead shark hanging from the ceiling to be a weird feature, and like kind of against like your morals, I would say. Like, I don't know, I just feel like you're gonna get in trouble with like PETA, and like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are gonna like disrespect you at this point, you know, because they don't appreciate seeing that. And I think that not just me is gonna, I don't think I'm the only person that's gonna have this kind of reaction. You know, maybe I am, but I feel like a lot of people don't. I mean, we don't want to see that. We don't want people to do that. So I think that that's sort of like I can't really support somebody that does that at this point, which I'm like, oh, damn it. Anyways, so I mean, that's kind of how I'm feeling. And yeah, for me, like, this is kind of like the last straw, and like at this moment, like everything is kind of built up to like this peak moment where kind of like a pimple, you know, when you gotta like, when it finally builds up and you pop it. It's like the same sort of crap that comes out is like what is kind of like how I'm feeling about Iggy at this moment. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, all that crap is kind of like, what, I'm done. So yeah, so ever since I first, I'll just tell you about like my history with Iggy Azalea. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like, you know, we all kind of have like some artists that are like influential in our listening for like a couple of years. So I mean, Iggy was part of that for me at the very least. So ever since I kind of heard Fancy, I loved her. She's kind of like, you know, like a white girl icon because she used Clueless and she used it well. And plus, you know, like she kind of like, you know, by doing that, she kind of won over like all white people. Because, everybody like watches, like, I mean, not just white people. I think a lot of people enjoy, of every color, enjoy Clueless, but obviously, like, the main person in that movie is white, and that's who white girls related to at that time. And I guess sometimes still do. Um, anyways, so I mean, besides that, like, it's a catchy and fun song, and you could like tell. I mean, that was like kind of her first hit that like really like popped, that really got out there, and everybody was listening to it, and everybody knew it. So you could tell that she was maybe somebody to watch, like she was kind of going to be like the next big thing, a little bit. And it was kind of cool because we hadn't seen like a big I guess, female artist from Australia in a while. So I thought that was kind of cool. So it was just kind of like, and you kind of had like, in her music, she had like the pop hit a little bit because it was a little bit more poppy. But she also had that kind of like hip hop appeal to her. So she was kind of like this bad girl. So I thought that, like, and she wasn't like overdoing that either. And, at this time, like, she still looked like a white girl. She didn't have any of the enhancements that she, later had with the giant booty and whatnot. And then the next song that I, enjoyed of hers was like, oof, like it's a banger. Like this was like the next song that came along in like the Iggy train, and like I hopped on board. Um, and it was such a hit, and it felt like we got a chance to know her and kind of like hear a bit about her story and how she ended up where she was at the time. And I mean, obviously this song is Work, and I feel like if you don't know it, go listen to it. It is a great song. I don't know how you could have avoided it. I feel like it was kind of everywhere for a while. And I wanted to particularly like hone in on a couple of her lines, but I got a ticket on that plane. People got a lot to say, but don't know shit about where I was made or how many floors that I had to scrub just to make it past where I am from. And then kind of like the pre-chorus is no money, no family, 16 in the middle of Miami, no money, no family, 16 in the middle of Miami. And, and it just kind of keeps going a little bit. And it comes up again and again. So like just from that, she does. You kind of get like the clear story that she does what it takes and to make it, and she'll do anything, and she'll work very hard, which is basically this, the title of the song. And she literally tells us how she worked her ass off to be able to afford to be able to leave and support herself while she's in the United States. And then she worked so hard that she got to be able to put that ass back on bigger and better than it ever was, I guess. So, I mean, which it just keeps growing, in my opinion. I think it just keeps getting bigger. I think she just keeps putting more into it. But hey, that's her choice. You do you. So she chose to go to Miami, which she says in the song as well, which is sort of part of how she ended up kind of with the Southern hip hop influence that she had, and she has, I suppose, as well, because I think that she did go up into like New Orleans or like Atlanta. She went up, kind of around there, and she met a lot of rappers, and that's kind of how she kind of like uses their tone. And I think a lot of like her speech is sort of like supposed to be like a Southern rapper. So I think that's kind of weird that she's like an Australian doing like a Southern rap voice in her songs. But hey, I still like it. I still, play it all the time. So anyways, so like, she was able to support herself is basically the gist of the song. And she did what she had to do to survive, and she worked. And this is just like an epic song. And like, so I loved it. I still listen to it all the time. It's definitely on like every one of my like girl playlists that, pops up. And I'm like, whenever you need like a pumped up jam, it's fun to listen to and like get in your girl mood. So then I loved her more when Black Widow came out, and that was sort of like the debut for me of her new butt and her new hips and her everything. And she had on like this skin tight suit, in sort of like homage to Kill Bill. So that was kind of like the music video for Black Widow as well, with Rita Ora. And it was another banger of a song. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I still listen to it all the time, and I can barely prevent myself. Like the second I hear it, I'm just like clapping along like they do in the music videos. Like it's almost like automatic for me to be like, I need to be sassy and clapping right now. Like it's just it's like a weird thing. Sometimes Holden will put it on just to watch me do it. So not kidding, it just automatically happens. And then I think in like 2014, 2015 or something like that, I was at a music festival in Quebec City. And Iggy Azalea was performing there, and I was really excited to see her. Like that was like, she was definitely like somebody that I was looking forward to seeing. I know a lot of people were like, oh, Iggy Azalea, oh, she's garbage, blah blah blah. But I was like, I want to see Iggy. I love Iggy. I know, I'm like ridiculous, but so yeah, I was really really excited, and then and then I was kind of like let down a little bit because she was basically just in standing, you know, she had like all her dancers and whatever around her. But she was basically on like a staircase, and her pants were so tight that she literally couldn't move her legs. She couldn't bend her knee to get down the stairs. So I was like, this is just like ridiculous. Like, how can you, like, this is your performance outfit. Like, how do you expect to give like a good performance if like half of your body is like not functional? But yeah, anyways, like, it's just like, how can you perform if like half of your body is like numb and like you know, and like you can't move your legs when you know you've lost like circulation, I bet. And like she can't perform. She can just like, she's just like standing there like made to be this model, sort of like, you know, statuesque person. Like she doesn't really do much. She doesn't dance. She sings, and that's about it. So like that was like the first like, okay, like this is ridiculous. Like this is getting to be like too much. Like your butt has taken over that you can't even function anymore. And like you can't just, you know, stand there and look pretty. Like it just seems so superficial. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of, I mean, not that, you know, it wasn't a bad performance. It was just a lacking performance, I guess. And then we had sort of like the next kind of like group of songs, and it kind of came out like within like another year, kind of, I think it was 2016, 2017, I think it was maybe the fall, when the first song came out, and then sort of like the spring when the last couple of songs came out. So, and those are Team, Mo Bounce, and Switch. So, or in my order, the order that I like them, Mo Bounce is my favorite. Switch is all right, and Team is sort of just like meh, like it's not my favorite. So that's right. Mo Bounce is my jam a lot. I really really love Mo Bounce. I know a lot of people hate it. I think it's a ridiculous song. I agree. I think it's a ridiculous song, and I can't stop listening to it at the same time. Like it's just so much fun. Like I just put it on and I just bounce, and it's a fun song. And there's really like not really like, you know, a whole lot to the music video for it. It's basically just her shaking her butt a whole lot, and there are kids in the music video. Which I suppose like the whole concept of is a little bit weird considering it's just like, you know, butt scenes. But I'm giving her credit because like the kids were in it. They were like great dancers, and like they weren't in the same scenes as like the butt jiggling scenes. So I think that that's like okay. And yeah, it's a fun darn song. Like as much as like it gets a lot of crap, I think. And I was with, like a couple of years ago, I was with, some kind of like snooty girls, and, you know, we were trying to like find good songs to listen to, when we were out, and, you know, like party songs, because we were like all together. And like I was just trying to like make the best of it and whatever, and they kept playing the same songs like over and over and over again, and I was like, oh my gosh, something else has got to be better than this. And so I was like, hey guys, put on Mo Bounce, because I just thought it would be like a fun like song. And they're like, they listened to like half of it and they switched it. And I was like, ugh, can't even get my Iggy in. So like I still had her back then. Like I still loved her so much. So yeah, they hated it and changed it. And then, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, go listen to the song and let me know what you think. I know it's not like lyrically profound or anything, but it's just a fun song to like bounce around to, like while you're like washing dishes or like, cleaning up or, taking a shower or whatever. It's fun all the time. It's basically what I'm basically trying to say. So go listen to Mo Bounce and get addicted to it like I have. Also like somewhere like along the years, like she's done like, several collaborations, and there was, of course, songs that like I didn't really ever get like a chance to listen to, or, songs I may have listened to once, but like didn't really make an impression on me. But these are the ones that just like stood out to me most, obviously. So like there were, a few of the collaborations that she did. There was like the Britney Spears and Iggy Azalea flop of Pretty Girls, and it was not good. And the music video was even worse. It was just bad. Like the whole concept was bad. It was like trying to make a comeback, I guess, but it didn't go well. And I'm pretty sure they were both not very happy with it, because I think it was a flop for both of them, obviously. And then there was a feature on Ariana Grande's Problem, which, it was a hit and like it was very successful. But like I never really fell for like Ariana. Like she's just too like sweet for my liking, which is why I like Iggy maybe. So yeah, I mean, I just never really caught on for me, but like it was a popular song. I don't know what people think of Iggy Azalea's part specifically, but that was a song. I mean, I hear it all the time, but I don't really listen to it or whatever. And then there was the J-Lo song featuring Iggy Azalea, and it was just called Booty, and it was obviously about butts. And this is J-Lo's song, so I mean, it's going to be good because she doesn't really put out bad songs. I mean, she only puts out bad movies. Am I right, Jiggly? Or Jiggly or whatever it was. But this one was fun, but really not much about butts. But at least like J-Lo's butt is real. And she was like the OG like big butted girl from like back in like the 90s and like early 2000s. And then we have Iggy, right? But I mean, hers is bought and paid for. But I mean, because we did see her, in like fancy, and she didn't have anything, She was a basic white girl, which is fine. I mean, there's lots of popular, famous white girls that have, not a lot going on. And, Taylor Swift, she's great. She doesn't have a lot, but she looks good and she does her thing, I guess. But I couldn't even imagine if she went and got like big butt and like hips and all that and whatever and big boobs. That'd be crazy if she did that. Look what we made her do. But yeah, anyways, so the J-Lo song, it wasn't again like that much substance, and it was all just like kind of fluff songs that never really charted. But yeah, that was that. So this is just kind of like what I've seen like along the way. I also want to mention that I follow her on Instagram, and I know that Iggy has had like a few like up and downs with like guys like along, while she was been in the spotlight. But like she's posting pictures of like herself in like her big mansion, and like she's always alone. Like there's nobody else around, and I know that she doesn't have any family here. Like 16, no family in the middle of Miami. And I'm sure like all her friends are in showbiz, so they're probably like all busy or doing whatever, because I mean she went to Miami, and then she went to she went into like the southern states, and then she went to LA. So she's moved around a lot, and she probably doesn't really get to meet people that aren't in showbiz, and so like those people are probably just working, like they're busy, they've got their own stuff going on. So she's alone a lot of the time. And like from like my opinion, like these are like the pictures that she's choosing to share with the world, and she just seems like very lonely. And she's had all this plastic surgery and she's had all this stuff to look good, and in the end, she's just kind of like by herself. Like I just want to be like, oh Iggy, I'll be your friend, and like give her a hug. But yeah, it's sad that she's like done all this and she's had all this success and she doesn't really have anybody to share it with. Like she doesn't. I mean, I'm sure she has friends, but like it just seems like nobody's real. I don't think with her. Yeah, I guess. So it's too bad. I hope she has friends. I mean, I wish her the best. I don't think, whatever. So all that to say, so that's kind of like my history with her. So all that to say really is just that the newest video just really let me down. And I know some people will think that I'm like exaggerating or that I'm being ridiculous or whatever. But I just think that she can do better. And, I hope that she can and she does and that I'll love her next songs. I'm still going to give her a chance because I know that she can make some like good, fun hits, even though they're crap, in terms of like thoughtfulness or whatever. Like the songs aren't like highly intelligent, but they are fun songs and I like them. And I don't like a lot of girl like musicians, which is a weird thing. And so I'm glad that like something about her like interests me and that I take an interest in her. So I think that's good. Yeah, so I just think that she needs to like be a little bit less lazy in her music and to kind of like look inside and kind of like look past all the plastic and kind of go back to like maybe her roots or like talk about something that's a little bit more real. I think I read somewhere that she's I think her father or something is part Aboriginal, and like so she could write something about that. Kind of mix that something or the sound of it, or maybe have the didgeridoo in some song and make it cool. Make it cool AF, like it would be so cool. Like get something that's like shows your heritage, shows who you are. Like that's why worked, right? You know what I mean? Like it was a song about you. And talk about like some issue or something that you've come across, in all of your, time and all of the things that you've done and people, and places you've seen. Like there must have been something that like made you stop and think and feel and be like, oh, like, something needs to be done about this. And, talk about like that particular issue and like, bring it up in some song and make that about you, or, give us something that's a little bit more like than this, So yeah, I just feel like there's got to be, something more that you can do. And I saw recently on her Instagram, like in the last couple of days as well, she'd posted like a fan had sent in like a video of, I'm guessing like her kids or whatever, dancing, but like little kids, like probably like 3 or 4 years old, like two little, like a boy and a girl, like dancing to like this song. And I was like, maybe not. Like, I don't know. I just thought that that was sort of like not good for your eyes, and that like, basically the song, she's like a sexual object. Like that's kind of like what she's doing. Like she's going back to like all of those like old school images that like I remember like, hearing about in high school. Like, these are pictures, of that were in ads that are like sexist, and that like when you do like studies, when you look into like these magazines or images or model like shoots or images like that she's like putting in this like music video, where it's just like, I don't know, like there's just like weird parts about it. And then there's like at one point like these like the dancers are like flailing around at the, like on like their backs, and they look like insects that have like can't get back up, like they're rolled over and they can't get back up, and they're just like flailing their legs. And like that just instantly reminded me of like another image that I remember seeing in like a conversation of like sexist images, where it's just like a woman's legs, and that's basically what this is. It's an ass and legs in lingerie just shaking around on the ground. And it is very like it's like the woman is kind of like detached in the images, and it's just weird. It's just weird imagery. I just thought it went like backwards in time. Like we're not like you weren't progressing. Like you're kind of taking women back a little bit. So that was like a big issue that I had with the music video as well. Besides all like the asses and whatever, that's whatever your choice. If you want to wear that, that's cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just didn't like the little kids that were dancing to it. And like yeah, and in my point of view, like all of this kind of stuff like doesn't make you like a happy person. Um, yeah, I think that she's, she's not always like a big smiling person. I think that, by nature, she's not a big smiling person anyways. I think that's fine. But I think that, maybe she's not attracting such good things to her. If she, maybe she needs to be a little bit more positive and a little bit like better and like forward thinking. That's my opinion. I mean, maybe she just needs to like self-reflect, and that's about it. And she's a busy girl, so maybe she just doesn't have time to do that, and that's too bad. I hope she makes some time to do that if that's the case. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. This is just my opinion. Yeah, and I think that also too, like again, like the thought of like the kids is that like if this is her target audience, like she needs to make better stuff. Like she's like, it's not a good lesson what she's like teaching us like in this video. So basically to like wrap it up, I just think that if Iggy would stop singing about, the negative side of like, I think she's putting herself on the wrong side of a lot of issues, and I think that that's that's her choice, but I think that it's it's against feminist and sort of like sexist as well, and it doesn't like show like empowerment, and like it kind of, there was with the shark, it kind of like questions her values on animal rights and if she cares about animals, and if she currently has animals, like how well are they taken care of, is like if this is sort of like the how she treats animals. So I think that she just needs to like rap about kind of more powerful and positive truths, and kind of show that she is like the strong independent woman that she is, what she is. Let's remind her that she is indeed, as she once said, she's the realist. And I think real is what we want as fans, and we don't like, we all know that you're not like actually like going out and like being a prostitute and making money that way, or doing ridiculous things. Like, at the end of the day, I think she's just like at home, like knitting, like I think that she's just kind of like, okay, I'm going home, and like she doesn't really like do much, I don't think, when she's not like in the limelight. So I think that she could like come back up. I think she just needs to make a few changes, and maybe get some like better, powerful, positive influences for her, and like go meet some good people. With that being said, I guess that's enough about my little like rant about Iggy Azalea. It's probably absolutely ridiculous, but hey, it's my thoughts, so I shall share them with you. So yeah, I think yeah, that's it. So let me know what you guys think about this. If you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Join me and join all of us as we like delve into more music, and more kind of like what's going on and exploring the world of music, and especially hip hop. I mean, that's what we're looking at here, the majority of. So that's about it. I also wanted to thank our patrons on Patreon, and if you are interested in any of that and giving us a little bit of support, you can find the link down below. And it's Mozart, Lindell Williams, and Super Old School 1994. Thank you so much for subscribing, and yeah, I look forward to all your raffle requests as they come in. So enough about that. I've got other things to do, people to see. So that's me for now. So take care, guys. Bye.